The UK's political parties and potential candidates have had a little over 24 hours to start preparations for the general election. Away from the hyperbole, they've all told us they couldn't be more ready. How ready are the parties? Matthew Elliott is a political strategist who was chief executive of Vote Leave. That went quite well. Stephen Bush is special correspondent at the New Statesman. I don't know who wants to field this. I mean, the party managers are all saying, we're very relaxed about this. We've been preparing for months. We couldn't be more pleased. But I wonder what would be the key things when they gather today that they would want to sort first?
Well, I think it's safe to say the Conservatives are very well prepared, because, of course, there was always a chance there could be an early election had the Article 50 legislation not gone through. And, of course, having Linton Crosby running the campaign again, this is somebody who's run 2 other national general election campaigns and 2 campaigns for the London mayoral race. So he's really on top of his game. So I think they've got a good game plan because he's really on top of things. And also with the local elections going on at the moment, all the local activists are already out there delivering leaflets. All the machinery is already in place.
Stephen, what about the other parties?
Well, I'd say Labour are institutionally, they're actually in quite a good place. So during the last summer, their NEC voted to give them broad powers to select the candidates and get people in place. And they've got that very strong field team that, yes, the 2015 election didn't work out for them, but it's a good team. Their problem actually is the strategic stuff. Who is running the campaign? Is it the leader of the opposition's office? Is it the party HQ? Under most Labour leaders, of course, that would be the same thing, but it's very much not in this case. So, yeah, I mean, who is running the campaign? Who's their Spencer Livermore figure who ran it last time? They don't really have one. So they're institutionally ready, organisationally less so.
And for all the parties, the business of selecting candidates, they thought they had a lot longer to do that. There's also the business of making sure they have enough money for the campaign. I wonder who's most ready there.
I think the question of candidates, I think it helps the fact that the Boundary Commission hasn't gone through yet. So they'll be able to use some of the candidates from the last election who are still keen, particularly on the Conservative Party side, to fight again. I think for the other parties, they may find it more difficult. UKIP have struggled to select council candidates for the whole of the country. And also, I think in some Labour constituencies, particularly for Labour candidates in safe Tory seats, they may struggle to find Labour candidates as well. And on the money side of things, I think, both of the major parties will be OK. The Labour Party's had more money in the coffers from an increased membership and from the trade unions. And the Conservative Party have people who they can go to for money.
Stephen?
Yeah, Labour, thanks to their enlarged membership, are more solvent than they were. And also they have still got enthusiastic backers of Jeremy Corbyn who will stand because they will think that, the polls will be wrong and they will be successfully elected in places where people stand down. But what they also have is if you were a candidate last time, you don't have to go through a selection for Labour. And so Party Region is writing to all of those people and going, look, you've got to stick with us because if you don't, when the weather changes, you'll be out in the cold.
Matthew mentioned people being ready to go out and knock on doors, and that will obviously still happen in the course of an election campaign. But as you demonstrated during the referendum, technology is increasingly important in all campaigns. Who's most ready to be sharp on the button?
Well, I think on the Conservative Party side of things, they put a lot of money into this at the last general election.
Into what exactly? Into
the whole social media element of things. And of course, Jim Messina, the American strategist who worked for Obama, he did a lot of work on 2015. He built up a very big database of the UK population, and they'll be able to go back to that. So they've already done the preparatory work. And of course, they've just generally been quite good at social media. As for the Labour Party, I think they've also been pretty good in the past year or two.
Yeah, Jeremy Corbyn has an incredibly successful and quite revolutionary small R sort of Facebook presence. And actually, although the Conservatives had more money and they did some very innovative things, in many ways, last time Labour was running the same campaign, but the kind of Aldi version. So they are both doing a lot of the same things. There's just one side has outclassed them for financial reasons.
How much do the parties know about us? I mean, I read that it's possible for the parties to know, well, the family at number 6, they're all Labour. Next door at number 8, the couple are divided between the Lib Dems and UKIP. Do they know that much about us? And how do they know?
And parties know, a lot about members of the public and voters, but we should remember that they'll be looking at a different set of seats at this election. Of course, at the last election, David Cameron had his 40-40 seat strategy, defending 40 seats and trying to gain 40 seats. This time around, if Theresa May wants to build her majority to 50 or even perhaps 100, as some people are talking about, that's a completely different set of seats. They'll have less information on these voters.
Local information, I guess, will be perhaps more crucial than ever. Matthew, people suggesting that we should forget the UK-wide polls, and with tactical voting and with Brexit considerations and individual constituencies, all bets are off. How valid do you think that is?
I think lots of people will be looking at national issues in this election, especially coming in the wake of the referendum. And actually, I think people want to hear some more of the national issues that are set aside from Brexit. We've had a year full of Brexit, full of Donald Trump as well in being in the media. I think people want to hear a bit more about what Theresa May's plans are in terms of education and housing and healthcare, her wider vision for the country.
Stephen, how big a role do you think local factors will play?
I don't think that big, really. I feel every election we talk about the death of national swing, and every election, actually, national swing mostly gets the result bob on.
And what about debates, the prospect of TV debates? ITV saying today they're going to go ahead. The Prime Minister's indicated she won't be taking part in anything. Stephen, do you think voters care? We know broadcasters care passionately about this. Do you think voters care?
No, I think only in a kind of nice-to-have way, but not really het up about it.
I think it's worth saying that Theresa May has debated Jeremy Corbyn every week in the House of Commons at Prime Minister's Question Time, and every week he seems to have read out questions from members of the public. So quite what his approach to a debate would be, I'm not sure. So I think she'll quite easily be able to duck it.
But that's just one other party that gets to do that, isn't it? Although the SNP get their set question too. Is it not important in a democracy that we see all the leading candidates take part in a debate during the campaign?
I mean, people will be seeing Theresa May on the doorstep and up and down the country making speeches. And I think that there will be a Westminster and inside the bubble debate about whether or not there should be debates. But for members of the public, they won't be that bothered.
All right. Thank you both, Matthew Elliott and Steve.